going to say who you are?
Hi, what's your name, your age, and relationship to me?
Okay, Richard Shapley. I'll be 80 years old in November. And my relationship to you is I'm a neighbor to you, and I've known you for a few months to see you off and on, and see your family too.
Okay.
You're a good guy.
Are you or were you married, and did you have a family? Describe the family.
I'm married. I have 3 grown children, and I have their offspring. I mean, their spouses. I have 6 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild.
Where and when were you born?
I was born in Groover, Texas, which is north of Amarillo, Texas, in Hanford County.
That's good. Are you the first generation to be born in the U.S.? If not, do you know who was?
I know that back in 1600 and something, there was a Captain Shapley washed overboard on a ship. And there's a record of, there was a Shapley that was a witness in the Salem witch trials. So we've been here a while. My grandfather helped settle the northern part of Texas. My father, who was in about 1905, remembers them going to that area that was near Groover, out in the prairies. His first thoughts, or his first remembrance, is watching his dad follow the wagon with the muzzle of a single-shot 22 resting on the tailgate of the wagon. And he always kept that gun loaded, not cocked, but loaded, because if a jackrabbit jumped up, that was their next meal.
Okay. Can you remember August 6th and 9th, 1945, when America dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan?
I remember it very vividly, yes. I was elated. You have to realize we were in a terrible war. The Japanese people were told that we were cruel and would torture anyone that we captured. They would commit suicide. In fact, I forget what the island was. The civilians and everybody jumped off a cliff to evade being captured by the terrible Americans. We treated our prisoners fairly. Of course, they tortured us, but we were afraid that it was going to cost thousands, millions of lives of Japanese and Americans if we had to invade Japan. They were prepared to fight until the last man died, because we supposedly were so cruel. But when we dropped the bomb, all of a sudden, they decided they better change course.
That's good.
We were delighted, in spite of the horror that it caused.
How do you think the U.S. changed following this event?
By the end of World War II, there was a surge of activity. The war activity really spurred the economy along. I vividly remember the Depression before that. Things were looking up. People were energetic, ready to go to work and rebuild build a nation. Mm-hmm. And they did. And we had lots of projects going on, even for years. Look at the interstate highway. You can't imagine what it was like trying to drive across country before that came in. So there's been tremendous changes.
Okay. What do you remember about November 22nd, 1963, when JFK was assassinated?
I was home in a recliner. I was suffering from the flu. My wife was up in Sacramento taking care of her parents, And I remember it was horrific. The nation highly respected and most very dearly loved John Kennedy. It was a real shock. He had brought about a feeling, stirred up a feeling of really just making America want to strive to be better to each other and better to the world. And for him to be assassinated was a shock beyond belief.
Mm-hmm. Many people have said hope in America died a little that day. Do you agree? And how did America change?
Yes, it hurt. Yeah, it hurt to the core. And how much it has changed since then, I don't know. It let us know that everybody doesn't love the president.
Okay. How about this question? How about the Vietnam War? Do you think America had lost trust in the federal government by the end of the war? And if so, has this trust ever been won back?
America's involvement in the Vietnam War was brought on by our entanglement with alliances that we didn't know how to back out of in safe face, and it was also a dreaded fear that communism, primarily from Russia, was going to overtake the world and conquer the world. So there was a lot of fear of communism at that time. North Vietnam was communist. South Vietnam was, well, it wasn't communist. But I'm very much aware that the French were in Vietnam, and we were allies of the French government. Our government was allies of their government. They were having problems way back during the Korean War while I was in the service. And I remember it in 1950 to 1953, while I was in the Air Force at Mather Field in Sacramento, we had a lot of French officers being trained on the field there. And they were being trained to go to Vietnam and fight. The French gave up, were pretty much pushed out, and we moved in mostly as advisors. But right from the end of World War II,